Hello guys, my name is Kaimana Kane, and today I'm going to be giving you a book review on who was Pablo Picasso. So if you ever think of an artist or who's the most popular modern artist, your brain would probably go to Pablo Picasso because he drew in a very unique art style. And his art style was called Cubism, and I'll get more into that later. So as you can see, he drew extraordinary art, unlike any other people like Vincent van Gogh, Claude Monet, or just a lot of other famous artists. But Pablo Picasso, he had his own way of getting around things. He was a pet lover who had a mouse, a turtle, monkey, and many cats and dogs. And well, he was just a really unusual guy by his painting style and just regularly his personality and his way of fashion, because as you can see, I don't do my hair like his. So Pablo Picasso was born on October 25th, 1881, and there's not a lot about his childhood, but he was a child who could draw before he could talk. So that means since he had a bunch of sand in his backyard, he didn't draw oil pastels or anything like paint. He couldn't draw this one. He was before he could talk. So his backyard, he went in his backyard, he got some sticks, and he usually just drew spirals, usually drew just stuff he saw. But cubism, drawing spirals isn't cubism. I'll tell you more about that later, but it's more or less drawing what you see. So if I saw this book, maybe I could make his hair, I can maybe make his head a square, maybe make the hair triangle, and you could probably see how this could happen. With this, he used geometrical shapes, and he just used a lot of shapes. He used a lot of time in his art, as you could probably see. These aren't the real ones, but his other ones are much more detailed. Not much more detailed, but more detailed, more better, and he's a great artist. He's just a great artist. So in 1889, he drew his first oil paint. And although it wasn't that good, it doesn't mention it in this book, but it says it somewhere, one of the very first pages. You can't see. His arts could be very simple, or his arts could be really complex, like ballet dancers. But as you can see on the next page, he drew spirals in his backyard like that. He drew some other squiggly lines over here, and he couldn't even talk at that time, which was really crazy. So in 1895, he attends art school and is actually one of the best students, but his teacher didn't really like his art style. So for some reason, I think it's pretty good. Sometimes I think it's way too complex, like why a girl having two eyes, one upside down, a nose that's gigantic, it's having two fingers, but it's just pretty interesting of how he drew. So in 1900, he got his first art show. He taught people on how to draw his style, because he wasn't all that popular. So in 1906, he paints, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'll show you it in the timeline. He paints the Gertrude Stein, and he meets Matisse and Brock or something. So right here, 1906, right there, you could see one of his famous paintings, and it could be from a few feet tall to a few feet wide, or a huge 12-foot high by 26-foot long painting, which is what you can see on page 75 and 74. So in 1921, Pablo Picasso has his first son, and 1925 he has another show, and a show is basically where he teaches people his art. So he was kind of mid-famous and mid-unpopular, but right now he's the most famous artist of this 20th century. So in 1937 he draws I don't know how to pronounce these words, but it spells Guermica. So, however you pronounce that. In 1947, he invents the dove as a peace symbol. I didn't really get that in the book, but I just wrote like a quotation on what it said. And he also did a lot of other stuff like pottery, sculpting, and even there's some tutorials on how to do some stuff like using an ink roller to draw. And some of his paintings were as I was saying the art wrong. It's the Cubist, not Cubism. But so you can see the man right there, and you can see Pablo's painting. So it's crazy. So like here's the original sketch, and here's Cubist's sketch. So it's kind of crazy on how you can see it. Although it looks kind of alike, it's way much more different. So 1947, Claude is born, and it's not Claude Monet, which is another famous artist, he's not the son of Pablo Picasso, which is another famous artist, but it would be cool if Claude was like a son of Pablo Picasso. But Claude Picasso was also a kind of good artist. Pablo Picasso really liked his children being good at art because you'd like to have a well-rounded child. So Pablo Picasso, he had a lot of then here's how to make a linoleum blocks print, and this is what I was talking about of like what different ways to draw. So Pablo had a lot of relationships, and there's actually a map that I'm trying to find that shows how many, I think it's how many girlfriends, wives he had, but it's, so I already flipped upon to Dora Maar, and, I think it's right here. So Picasso's, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the woman in his life. So this is what I was talking about. He had a lot of people. He met Fernand in 1904. He met Eva in 1911. He met Olga in 1917. He met Marie Thurs in 1927. He met Dora in 1936. He met Françoise, I don't know how to pronounce it, in 1944, and he met Jacqueline in 1953. So he had a lot of girlfriends and wives in his life. And 1961, he marries Jacqueline, and then he makes metal sculptures, which I've already stumbled upon flipping through the pages of this book, but I already found it. So here's a woman with a baby carriage. Here's a bull's head using a bicycle, like where you can steer the bicycle. But there's I lost it. And the next page, here's the ape and her young. And you might be wondering, well, I thought that was a really good idea, but they used a toy car to make the monkey's head. They used a goat. He made the sculpture of a goat out of flower pots, a basket, and palm leaves. So he made metal sculptures, and he lived through hard times, and he lived through 3 total wars. He lived through World War I, World War II, and another war that I forgot. So he painted Cubist, and well, he actually had a fear of death. In 1966, Paris actually showed all his art, thousands and thousands of pieces of Cubist and Pablo Picasso's art, to celebrate his birthday, because now he was worldwide famous. But this artist's life ends in April 8th, 1973. So that's the story of who was Pablo Picasso. And he lived to be 91 years old. So this is what Picasso produced and through 1988 and 1991. So in 1969, he had 165 oil paintings and 45 drawings. 1970 to March 1972, he had 156 total engravings. 1970 through 1971, 194 drawings. November 1971 to August 1972, he had 172 drawings. In September 1970 to June 1972, 201 paintings. So that's a lot. And this is Picasso's last self-portrait. So now, as always, well, maybe not always, but most of the time I'll show you all the bibliography. And I'll show you the timelines. I really like it has a timeline of Pablo Picasso's life and a timeline of the world. Like, in 1881, he was born. In 1879, Einstein was born. 1912, first collages, or however you say it. In, like, 1918, World War I ends. Like, in 1954, Matisse dies. In, like, 1957, Elvis Presley has his first #1 hit record with Heartbreak Hotel. So I just really love that like adjustment kind of detail about all these books, and that's why I really read them to you guys. Well, not exactly read, but like give book reviews on these guys, because well, I really like these books, and I really hope you do too. So I hope you like my book review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and shaka out of here.